Welcome to the Pandemic Finish Happy Hour. Today's class is called Suck on This because it's succulent-based cocktails, guys. And I love puns. If you haven't figured that out by now, and this is your first one, I am not sorry. That is my PSA. I'm dressed accordingly. I have a cacti on my shirt. I'm super pumped about these cocktails, mainly because I did this as a challenge to myself. Because I had used one or two of these ingredients before, but I didn't know if I could actually make an entire class with cocktails focused around succulents as the primary cocktail. So just as a, I guess, informational point, the succulents or things of that nature that we will be using today are aloe vera. We'll also be using cactus petals, known commonly as nopales in Mexican cuisine specifically, and dragon fruit, which is the fruit of a cactus, not to be confused with prickly pear. They're different in that the seeds in a prickly pear are not soft and edible. Usually they get strained out of whatever the preparation they're made in. And then dragon fruit comes in a bunch of different varieties of colors, and it can be eaten. It tastes very similar to a kiwi. So that's what we're making today. I've got my new little succulent buddies. I've put in these really cute cocktail glasses. I'm just, this is like my new favorite house swag that I have. I'm so unnecessarily over the top. But we're gonna make some cocktails. They're gonna be super tasty. They are going to sound a little strange, but I highly encourage you to try all of them just because these are very unique. You definitely will not find these anywhere else. So to get us started, we are going to make something I am calling Prickle My Fancy. Classes every week, usually on Monday. If I have a really busy Monday, then on Tuesday, there's a list that goes out with all the shopping, things that you need to get, all the recipes for prep. So one of the recipes on the prep list this week was a nopal or a cactus petal blend, where you take mango nectar that you can just get in like a can or a little bottle. They usually sell it in the Hispanic section of the grocery store, sometimes in the juice aisle. And then you blend it with an entire lime, skin included, and some nopalitos. So you could use fresh nopal or fresh cactus. However, the shelf life of the blend will be a little bit shorter. And if you get the ones that are jarred in the Hispanic section, they're usually jarred in like a mildly salty water or a lightly salted brine. So there's a little bit of a salt element if you use the one in the jars, which I really like. So that's the kind that I use. So if you need that recipe, you can just hop on back to the page. But it is mango nectar, a lime, and nopales blended together, and you get this really pretty yellow liquid. Now that, believe it or not, is the most complicated part of this cocktail, because once you've made this, it's a 2-ingredient cocktail. So we're gonna need a shaker. And I will say, if you go out and adventure and make this, it's really tasty. You could totally use it for a mocktail. However, the flavor profile will change after about 2 days because blending the entire lime in there makes it really beautiful and bright, but it does get some of those oil notes from the peel of the lime, so it's a little bit bitter. And the longer it sits, the more bitter it will get to almost be unappealing. So over 2, maybe 3 days, you would like to make a new one. So we're gonna be using Piña Loca tequila. I wish I was like paid to do commercials. I have like really good presentation voice, I think. But this is a Texas-based pineapple tequila that I've used before on the show. Again, not sponsored by anybody. I just use products I like. That's kind of the benefit of working for myself. So 1.5 ounces of the pineapple tequila. If you're using a different brand, it might be a little bit sweeter. This one, even though it is a flavored tequila, is really not that sweet, and that's probably one of the reasons I really like it. So we're using 1.5 ounces of that, putting it in our shaker tin, and 2 ounces of our nopal blend or licuado, which is blend in Spanish. That's fancy. And boom, that's the cocktail ingredients. So with all that in our shaker, we're gonna add some ice.
I decide every time you add an ingredient, I'm going to take a sip. That's how I feel involved.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I like that we're figuring out a way to make it interactive, even though you can't mix a lot.
Yeah, I was like,
I wish I had one of those light up signs that they have for like the audience applause, right? And it would just be like,
Girl, as soon as you went like this, I was like, I'm gonna get it. I've seen it. I know on Amazon. I'll find it. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna be
oh
like,
my God, it'd be amazing.
applause, have the button, just.
And then, like, when you say like, take a sip and then just have it light up, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Great. So I did try this cocktail stirred and I did try it shaken. It works both ways. Technically, we're not using a citrus juice. Usually, if you use a citrus type of juice, you want to shake it because it aerates. By shaking in the shaker, all the liquid's moving around, oxygen is being mixed in, and it makes it a brighter flavor profile. With other juices, it's kind of hit or miss, depends on the juice. This one, after doing the test, I very, very strongly recommend shaking it. But if all you want to do is stir and you want to be a little lazy, go for it. I'm going to shake. About 10 seconds, maybe. Okay. So I wanted to make one of these cocktails be super approachable because I know the ingredients are a little bit off and out there. So I wanted to make something that seems super easy to make to encourage people to take that jump. So technically, the hardest preparation is the blending because you do have to like strain the blend. But once you have this shaken up, you're going to strain it into your glass. You could do it in a coupe like I'm doing. This is a really small drink. So it comes out being about 3 ounces. There's smaller coupes that look like this. These are called like Nick and Nora glassware. Once I have my darker back wall, y'all will be able to see my glassware a little bit better. But these ones usually hold between 2 to 3 ounces, and then coupes can hold anywhere between like 5 to 7. But it looks like this really pretty, almost pineapple color. Really, really nice.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's like a bright yellow.
Yeah, that's that mango nectar. And depending on the brand that you get, sometimes it'll skew a little more orange. And you could absolutely do this with mango pulp. So you could do the blend with mango pulp, the nopales, and a whole lime, and then add a splash of water instead of buying mango nectar. I just wanted this particular cocktail to be really, really easy and accessible. But the only complicated thing about it was the nopal. So I took a giant cactus paddle and I cut it down into this tiny little piece because the cactus paddle is the size of my face. So I'll go off screen real quick and get my cactus paddle so you guys can see it if you've never seen one. But I'm gonna make that my little garnish. Just put that right there. And that, guys, is the Prickle My Fancy. Okay, now Chandler's gonna look like she gets really short because I'm actually on a step stool. So I'm coming around. Oh, it's not made for cameras.
I'm glad you warned me because I probably would have just started laughing in general. It just makes me think of those scenes where like those evil bad guys. What is it? That X-Men scene where he's like, that's how you know he's a villain. He was like standing on a box or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
That
there
made me
was
think
packages, so I may or may not be one. I will not confirm that on screen. But if you've never seen what actual cacti power looks like, it looks like a cactus, man. It's literal cactus. So if you don't believe me, it's a cactus, guys. It's like the size of my face. So you can get these fresh usually or frozen, most likely in your Hispanic grocery store. I do live in Texas, so sometimes I can find these in my actual grocery store. But you can almost always find the jarred ones. Those are a lot easier to find than the fresh, which is also why I went with that. But I like the salty element. So that's what a cactus paddle looks like. And this is what a Prickle My Fancy looks like.
Cheers, my dear.
Cheers, cheers. Oh, goodness me, that is good.
Is it good?
It's so good. So one of my favorite techniques that I feel like doesn't get used a whole lot, I learned it from a Brazilian cook, and I did it back in 2020 in one of the classes. They take whole citrus fruit whenever they're going to make a limeade or a lemonade. And instead of like squeezing the juice, adding sugar and water, they put all of the limes kind of chopped up or all of the lemons chopped up with some sugar and water in a blender so that you get a little hint of some of the bitterness in the skin. So it's like something so simple just taken to an absolutely spectacular secondary level just using whole fruit. So yeah, it's like a big thing for me. So like traditional Brazilian limeade is a little high in sugar content, but it's surprisingly not sweet. It's just high in sugar content because you do the water, whole limes, sugar, and then they add in condensed milk. So when you blend it, beautiful creamy white color with these tiny little flecks of green from the peel from the lime, and it is so delicious. But even with all that sugar in there, as long as you got the right ratio, it's surprisingly tart, and it is delicious. Oh, it's my favorite limeade.
God, that just sounds amazing because I love lemonade and that's what you can normally get. But if I have the option for limeade, I will usually get a limeade. It's just not. It's not offered that often. Like limeades in general are not popular.
I feel like I see it as maybe like Sonic with their cherry limeades, you know?
Yeah, that's the only place I've ever seen a limeade served in general. Like,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Is
yeah,
Sonic.
I love limeade. I love limeade, and then after learning that little Brazilian technique, it's like I almost can't have citrus aids, if you will, like lemon or limeades, without blending the whole fruit in there because it doesn't make it bitter. It just makes it a little bit bolder in flavor. It's
Okay.
really tasty. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Anyway, but I digress. We're gonna make another cocktail, guys. Okay, we're gonna move on to one that I'm calling Lucky Cloud. And this is a shandy, highly inspired by a cocktail that I used to make at a place that I was working. So I took inspiration from that. It's got a similar set of ingredients, but I kind of messed around with them just a tad. So shandy, if you are unfamiliar, started with people mixing lemonade and beer in a half and half ratio, primarily in Europe or in England. And it just made it a little lighter, a little more refreshing, and a perfect sipper for summer. So you could drink more of them across the day and not be overwhelmed by a huge beer belly or just way too much alcohol. So it's kind of like doing a spritz, but in the beer fashion. So for this one, I'm super excited. We're using so many cool ingredients. So you're also going to need a shaker for this one. And the preparation we made ahead of time is a dragon fruit syrup. Now, the recipe I gave out involved dragon fruit juice because I had access to it. But if you can't find it, you could use just dragon fruit as a fruit and then put it into the syrup. And if you don't have dragon fruit, quite honestly, this would be delicious with kiwi. So they have a very similar flavor profile, kind of subtle, lightly fruity, and then they have a very similar texture. In the syrup, texture doesn't really matter because it's not in here, it's just the flavor. If I were to have to use kiwi, I would probably go with golden rather than a traditional green if it was available. But dragon fruit is a gorgeous fruit. It is so beautifully, majestically wild to look at. If you've never seen them, I don't happen to have one on hand, but they have this like plumage, if you will, that it grows out of the cacti plant. And they're usually like a pink green on the outside. And on the inside, they can be absolutely magenta purple, white, or yellow. And I want to say in the States, I've only ever seen the white one when I've been living in Texas. But in Hawaii and when I lived in the Central America country of Costa Rica, I saw the yellow and the bright magenta one, and they are just stunningly gorgeous. It's almost unbelievable that those colors are natural. They're so bright. It's gorgeous. Oh. Okay, so to make the Lucky Cloud, we are going to be using sake, which I've become quite a fan of. It's a lower ABV, so you get to drink less at a time, if you will. You don't overheat. I overheat really easily if I'm drinking a lot of alcohol, especially in the summer because it gets to way over 3 digits in Texas. So I like to try to find a way to have fun but stay cool. So we're using 2 ounces, and this one is a cloudy sake, which just means that there's a lot of residue kind of stuff. It looks like it'll settle when it comes out of your fridge, so you want to give it a shake. You could use any sake you want. You can use a commercial Americanized flavored sake. You can use a junmai sake, which is usually the kind that I always have at home. But I've been playing around with some cloudy sake, also known as nigori, would be the Japanese term for cloudy. So I'm going to put that in there, 2 full ounces. And then we're going to add a ounce of fresh lime juice. Did you remember to take a sip?
I'm about to. I was like, wait, let me refill. We're in the middle. Let me refill.
Refill. All right. So 1 sip for the sake. And then I'm putting in a 1/4 ounce of lime juice, freshly squeezed if possible. We're doing a 1/2 ounce of the dragon fruit syrup. And even though shandies can have like a lot of different ingredients involved in them, I don't like sweet shandies. I still like it to be beer forward, but just kind of taste like, ooh, this beer is really interesting. Because you usually serve the excess of beer on the side. So then the person has the option to either continue adding beer to the cocktail, to keep changing the cocktail, because those ratios are going to be changing from beer ratio to cocktail-based ratio, or to enjoy the cocktail as provided, and then the rest of the beer solo on the side. So me, I like to keep it separate, and then I kind of go back and forth, so I just have 2 different beverages. Like to double fist my drinks, guys. I'm not shy. All right, and then I have some seasoned rice wine vinegar, and I'm going to use 4 drops of that. And if you don't happen to carry that at home, I do a lot of Asian food, so you could literally just add a pinch of salt. That's just balancing out the cocktail. And most people don't think of cocktails as needing salt. They think of them as needing sugar. But if you think about a lot of savory foods, sometimes a pinch of salt is added, but then pinches of sugar are really common in things like tomato sauce and certain soups to balance them out. So if you think of all of the sweet ingredients or ingredients that go into cocktails, a pinch of salt usually does magic. It really just brings it home and all balanced together. So now that we have that in there, I'm going to add 1 drop of grapefruit bitters. And as always, we want to dash with intention. None of this like kind of stuff you do. Wham. You do a hard dash, guys.
That's good to know, because that is key when watching people. The dash is different for everybody.
And that's the thing. If you just want to tip it over, right? Each brand will have a different kind of like, what's the name for it? Like a different
like a hose or an outlet.
The hole in the middle will be different. So those drops will be different brand to brand, but if all you're doing is tipping the bottle, you're not getting a full dash per the brand's specifications, right? So if I'm using Angostura bitters, which is super famous, very classic, you and I have the same bottle and you do this as opposed to me doing this, we have absolutely different amounts.
Yeah.
Even though we both did it just once.
Just once, yeah.
Dash with intention, and then if it makes you nervous to like dash and do a lot of like oomph or action force dashing, then you can put it into like a little dropper bottle and just use drops, and then it's
okay. Yeah.
We have our sake, we have our dragon fruit tea or our dragon fruit syrup, we have our rice and vinegar, our lime, and our grapefruit bitters, and we're gonna add some ice. Now, this one I'm going to shake for about 10 seconds as well. All right. So I've chosen a large beer style glass. You could literally just put this into a pint glass or a big cup that you have at home. You just want to make sure you have a little extra space after you pour the cocktail. And we are going to dirty dump this cocktail, guys. That means you take the entire contents of your shaker, ice included, and dump it into your glass. So now that I've put that in there, you can see there's a ton of extra space still in my glass. I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of my glass up with ice. And then I have this lager called Lucky Buddha. That's kind of where part of the name comes from. Lucky from the Lucky Buddha and Cloud from the Cloudy Style Sake that I was using today. So
have you had the Lucky Buddha wheat beer from Florida yet?
Ooh, no, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, there's a wheat beer called, that's why I laughed, because I was like, oh, there's a beer from Florida that's specific, because I can't have hops. So I'm always like wheat beer, everything. Yeah. So there's one called Lucky Buddha, and it's like very similar to the drinks that you pop off the cap, the Snapples, and they give you like little information. So they'll give you like a cute little affirmation under their thing. It'll be like a little, yeah. And I was, every time you pop open, you feel less guilty. You're like, all right, I'm doing something good.
I love that. That is so cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. Maybe I can find a store.
It's Funky Buddha. Funky Buddha. Sorry. Funky Buddha. Yeah.
I've already heard about it before. I'm gonna check my local store, and then actually, you know what I'll do? I'll check it and make this with that beer, and then
Ooh, yeah. Yes, and I can try it.
This is what happens, guys. When you come to class, we get to talk about things that are more personal to you, and then I get to modify these drinks for the actual person, not just me presenting stuff. But
Hey. And I got allergies.
hey, allergies are a real thing. You gotta work around. So I've topped it off. Got that Lucky Buddha topping it off. I've got just a lime wedge right now. There should be some dragon fruit arriving to my house probably in an hour, and then I will redecorate this before, or I'll actually be making a new one because I love a good excuse to make another drink. To take the photos for Instagram. But that, guys, is the Lucky Cloud, and I highly recommend serving something like this with a straw, because this is something I do enjoy, just putting the beer on top. One of my favorite things about a shandy is how the flavor evolves as you're drinking it. So I feel like if you stir it all together, then it just becomes one note for a really long glass of a beverage. And then you also kind of lose some of that carbonation because you're stirring all that beer around. So what I like to do is put a straw in here, and you can kind of just give it a small swirl here and there. So just kind of all of a sudden have an oomph of flavor, and then go back to sipping from the top, and then have another oomph of flavor and go back. Oh, by the way, very professional term. Just letting you know. That's how it's said in the industry. That is not my word. No, I'm kidding. It is absolutely not.
Wait, what?
Just trying to sound professional, guys. I'm gonna get short again. Don't freak out. But I know you can't probably see it from over there, but maybe you can here. But you see how it's kind of wider from here?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like cloudy to clear. It's really pretty, but it's subtle. It's
The lighting in this room is so much better than your last one. You can see your drinks way better. Like way.
I'm so excited to paint. So excited. I'm gonna paint my studio. You like Short Chandler? She's gonna go back behind the
I
bar.
do. It's just head Chandler. It's just bobble Chandler. I'm coming down. It's bobble Chandler time. And then just bob your head a lot.
I'll make one of those heads for my Futurama or something.
Oh my God.
Yes. I'm really hoping. I know I've been talking about the new studio for a hot minute, guys, but the bar has officially been, or the bar top, I should say, has officially been built, stained, sanded, and sealed. So now I just have to like put it together, put the legs on it, and then I'll be decorating and painting the new studio this week. So if all goes well, unless I get a little extra workload this week, it should be up and running by Father's Day next weekend. But if not, then definitely by the end of the month. So it's gonna get way worse. Hey. All right, and now for the pièce de résistance. I'm so excited about this cocktail.
Whoa. What the hell just came out of your mouth? Sorry.
Oh, French.
Go ahead and repeat yourself.
It's called the pièce de résistance, or the piece of resistance, meaning my like absolute favorite piece to share with you guys today.
Ooh, okay. Best for last.
Crowning glory. I think that would be a good translation.
Ooh, okay.
So I have, even though I am a bartender and a chef, I can understand ingredients really well, and I really enjoy certain flavor profiles, but on a personal level, there's things I just don't like, and everybody is like that. Some people think that if you're a chef or a bartender, you must love everything. Let me tell you something. No, I do not. So
I feel like you would have a stronger opinion on hates because you are.
Soapbox about the peanut butter and how much I hate it all day. But we're not going to do that because that's not in the class today. But one of the drinks that I've never come to like really is a martini. I find them to be, that was my whole argument. Thank you, Jason.
I've tried every version: sour, sweet, tart, flavorful, somebody else's random favorite, all trash.
I don't like martinis. I'm gonna put it out there. I don't like martinis, the classic martinis, whether it's a 50-50, which means a equal part pour of vermouth to gin or vodka, whether it's a vodka martini, a gin martini, a dirty martini. Maybe it's a fruity version. They make it a bar where it's an apple teeny. I don't like them, guys. I don't agree with the fact that they're a good cocktail. However, that being said, I've harped on that for years. I still harp on it today. And there is one singular martini that has stood out from the crowd. And it was made for me by a man that literally dedicates his life to the art of the martini. So if he had gotten it wrong, I don't know if I would have trusted him anymore. But I gave him a challenge that I thought would be incredibly difficult. Put him on the spot in front of a group of a lot of people in an international platform when I was in a class with him in Italy. His name is Agostino Perrone. If you ever want to look him up, he is the head bartender at the Connaught Hotel in London. He is phenomenally talented, but he made me a cardamom Meyer lemon martini that was to die for. And ever since then, I can't make anything that good. Nobody's made me anything that good. I just don't do martinis until today. We're doing a martini.
Oh, okay.
All of that to tell you that I'm gonna take it all back because I created a martini.
Yeah, I was about to be like, girl, you just built me up on this whole story to just tell me you're making a martini.
I wanted you to hate it as much as I did and then be like, oh wait, there's more. But I'm saying martini loosely because yes, I built this on the concept of a martini, but there are other ingredients that would not make this a traditional martini. So this is just my version of a non-traditional aloe-based martini. I'm calling this Mrs. Vera because to me, I really love aloe vera beverages like this one. They always come in like a squared out bottle in the store. I love these. Amazing hydration. I think they taste good. And unpopular opinion, I like the chunky ones, not
Me too. Yes.
What am I drink? Yes. Give me some. I'm here for it. So I don't like chunky stuff in my cocktails. I like it.
No. But the drink is good.
So I really wanted to create a martini that was refreshing, not chunky, but just refreshing, and also that felt like it was summery and hydrating without being an intense alcohol kick to the face. So we're gonna take a mixing glass, and some very good friends of mine by the name of Woody and Alessa introduced me to a Corey gin. Beautiful bottle, first of all. And it's kind of like a sake meets a gin. It's got all of the qualities aromatically and flavor profile wise of like a sake, but then it has the backbone and the spirit ABV, like the amount of alcohol that a gin would have. So it's like sake grew up, and then I'm taking the aloe beverage and putting it into this martini, and it feels very adult, but also very thoughtful in the process of that it's hydrating, that it's flavorful, that it's not super sweet, that it's really summery. So it just sounded like a very adult thing to do, and that's where I got the name Mrs. Vera. Because she is not a miss, she's a Mrs. She's all grown up, guys. So I love taking you guys through my thought process because when I start saying these things out loud, I realize how absolutely insane it is. But I don't care. It's great.
It's storytelling. You add depth to the drinks. You're not like, here's the ingredients, let me pour. You're like, here's this depth and all these thought processes. And that's what I'm here for, because I can't actually drink that great. So I'm here for the thought process.
Name the pandemic pinup happy hour is story time with Chandler plus cocktails.
I feel like you could call it ASMR on description of food and drinks.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So I'm going to try to describe this the way that I know Jade loves when I describe things, because she's not able to taste this. Some of these things I know you're not able to have or you don't have access to. So I'm going to tell you that the gin. So have you ever smelled sake or had sake?
I've had sake. I've had sake I like and that I love, and then I've had sake I hated. So I don't know, but I didn't know enough about the sake to be like, oh, it was this brand or something like that. It was just like, oh, that was crap and that was good.
Did you drink it hot or cold, and was it in Hawaii?
So actually, the one I liked was actually at Mori Searcher, that famous. There you go. Yeah, I went to his restaurant and I had a peach sake, And then the guy just kept bringing me out sakes. Like he was like, here's a strawberry, here's a mango, here's a peach. Everyone he brought out killed. Like it fucking killed. And then I went to like a really great like rave review sushi bar and ordered sake. It was warm. And it was trash. I spit it right back up in the bowl. Like, and that's not like me to waste like that. So
sake is very different across the board. It's kind of like wine. How wine is
Okay.
all wine. The flavor profiles are so different. You can have fruity. You can have like things that are very grain forward, where literally you can taste rice or barley or wheat. Sometimes they're a little sweet. Sometimes they're earthy, the way they like wet mushrooms kind of smell.
Okay.
And not all sakes are meant to be cold. Not all sakes are meant to be hot.
Oh.
Room temperature.
Okay.
A lot of restaurants, I won't say morimotos because I know that they take a lot of care. I've been there. They take a lot of care at the location in Hawaii to do things correctly. But specific sakes are specific temperatures, and I've been to a lot of restaurants that serve the wrong sakes within the wrong temperature, and it'll ruin the spirit. So that being said, this definitely, it smells warm, like when you smell alcohol, how you can smell the alcohol on it, but you get a little bit of a sweetness.
Okay.
Like when you cook rice, if you just cook rice, you know how like it smells in the air, that those fumes, it's a little rice, it's a little grainy, it's a little sweet.
Okay.
So that's what you're getting from the gin.
Okay.
And I'm using a 1/2 ounce of Manzanilla sherry. So Manzanilla sherry has kind of like a white wine style flavor if you're unfamiliar with sherry or vermouth. But Manzanilla is really crisp brightness, like a green. It's really, really delicious. Oh my gosh. Now, not apple in the sense of like it tastes like apple cider, but it is really bright and crisp like that. Then I'm going to use 1 ounce of my aloe beverage. And I specifically chose one with no flavor and no artificial sweeteners, because the artificial sugars that they put in things have a very unique flavor profile. I find them wildly unappealing. If all you have is that, or those are the ones you like, you can use one of those, but this is a naturally sweetened aloe vera beverage with no additional flavor. You could also make this cocktail with just pure aloe vera juice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you had it? Does it taste good with just the pure aloe vera juice, or does the taste vary?
It can skew bitter because it depends on the brand you get. So that's why I prefer to go with these, because it kind of like lessens the strength a little, and then I don't have to dilute the beverage as much, and it just adds a little bit of sweetness because I'm not adding anything sweet to this cocktail.
Okay.
Oh, well, I take that back. I am, but not really. So I have a honeysuckle liqueur. That's the other element going in here. So it's really similar to, say, an elderflower liqueur. If anybody's ever had that before, it's slightly sweet, kind of floral. So this one is honeysuckle, and it's made here in Texas. There's a couple other brands. If you don't have honeysuckle, I made this about 2 weeks ago with an elderflower liqueur for a friend, and it worked out just beautifully as well. I like the honeysuckle just because it doesn't tend to be as sweet as the very popular Saint Germain elderflower liqueur. And I'm only adding 1 bar spoon. So that's the equivalent of maybe like a 1/2 teaspoon. It's a very, very small amount.
Why is that spoon so ridiculously long?
Oh, you'll see. So you can stir it a certain way.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah. After I asked.
I eat my cereal like this on Saturdays. This is how I like to eat my cereal.
1 grain at a time.
I always get 2 Cheerios. That's it. It's 2 Cheerio ratio. All right, and then I am adding 1 intentional dash of grapefruit bitters. All right. So with that being in there, I'm going to stir this cocktail. We're not shaking. Usually, if you have mostly spirit ingredients or spirit-based ingredients, you stir, not shake, so that you get a really silky mouthfeel when you drink it, instead of something that's like foamy and airy. So with this, I'm going to add some ice. With my insanely large spoon. If you've never used one of these before,
I want one just because it looks cute. I swear.
Let me show you one of these days. I have one that's like super tiny, and you would think it'd be super cute, but then you're like stirring with like 2 fingers because it's shorter than your mixing glass. But if you actually have a mixing spoon or a cocktail spoon, you put the ladle part on the inside of your mixing glass and push it down. If you don't have cocktail spoon, you can just use a chopstick or even like a butter knife. But your
Oh.
trick is you want to try to not move your shoulder. Let's see if I do it this way. Okay. So you're just rotating your wrist.
Look at that skill. Oh my
Oh.
God. You went from being like, I'm so free flowy to structure. Like, so
It's
yeah.
very classy. It's very classy feeling. So there's a lot of people when you're trying to learn their technique where it's like a lot of this because they stir the way they do like sauce. This is supposed to be very refined. It's supposed to be all in the
wrist.
Yeah, you're trying to move that ice around. You can kind of touch your glass. You'll feel it start to get cold and condensate. Once you're stirring your cocktail, you want to do it for about 20 to 30 seconds. This technique is used for a lot of martinis, for things like an old fashioned or a Manhattan, anything that's very spirit forward with no juice. So, with that being mixed in there, we're going to use our julep strainer, which is really nifty. It kind of looks like a scoop with holes, whereas like the Hawthorne strainer is going with the coil.
Oh, okay.
So the Hawthorne strainer usually has the coil that you use for shaken cocktails because then any little bits of things get caught in there and not in your drink. But alcohol forward cocktails have nothing chunky, so you use a little julep strainer. So it's just going to hold back all the ice. And it's kind of hard to explain because this looks absolutely crystal clear like water, but it's at the same time, it looks thick and viscous, but in a good way, kind of silky. So I'm going to bring it over. I have this really awesome thin slice of aloe vera that's like see-through in the middle, but green on the sides. And I'm going to slip that in there.
I don't know why I look closer like it'll help me and it never does. Like
I'm going to bring it over.
bobblehead. Bobblehead.
Hand cam for the other one so you guys can see them a little bit better.
Oh, that looks gorgeous. Yeah, that's
Great.
beautiful.
You see, it's crystal clear.
I also love that you didn't spill that. That is literally up to the edge. Congratulations on your skill.
Yeah. When you fill it up to the very top, that's called the wash line. And the goal is to get it as close as possible without spilling.
Okay.
I don't serve drinks, I make them, which is why I don't have any issues serving them to the top because I never have to take them to the table.
Yeah, I would see how that would be a problem. Yeah.
You guys, those are my drinks. I'm really excited to have made these for you. I hope you guys try them. If you do, please let me know what you think. I love honest opinions, whether they're good or bad. If you have trouble sourcing anything, please reach out. And then just a little housekeeping, if you will. For next week, we'll be doing a Father's Day themed class that is based all on things that your child would drink if you were a parent. So we will be making cocktails with Yoo-Hoo and Capri Sun and Cooper Jammers. You can embrace your inner child because you are not an actual parent. Please feel free because that's what I'll be doing. If you have kids, steal their shit and then let them go to bed and join me in class. I guarantee you the drinks will taste good. I know it's going to sound like they couldn't possibly, but I also guarantee they will make you forget whatever bad day you had because I made 2 or 3 of them the other day as tests and was very quickly intoxicated. They're hectic because I understand that parents go through a lot and need support. So I'm here to provide liquid support for all of your needs. We'll be doing that next weekend. And if you need any other information, you can reach out to me on Instagram. The account is @PandemicPinup. There will be a video going up later today about different garnishes that was posted to the TikTok account this week, also @PandemicPinup. I post videos Monday to Saturday, as long as I remember, of all kinds of extra recipes and techniques and just all kinds of hacks that you don't get within this class. So follow me over there if you're on TikTok. And then if you need to reach out, you can also reach out through the Facebook page, the Underground Cooking Club, where this gets streamed. And later on in the week, the recipes will go live on the Instagram account and the videos will go up on the YouTube channel for the Chef with Red Shoes. And none of my hands is matched because my life is a mess and I'm not going to fix it, guys. So just get on this train because I am not good at social media. This is where we're at. So join me in the crazy and have a drink and enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to go hang out with my family, and you guys don't get to because you're not in the room. So I'll see y'all later. Bye, faces.